There's something amazing about the moment you discover a new passion. For me, it started here, watching this moment from Ready Player One. The RX-78-2 Gundam kicking Mechagodzilla's butt in the Oasis battle. This was hands down one of my favorite moments of the film, but back then, I didn't even know its name. I just knew I wanted one. That desire to own a Gundam is what led me here, to Gunpla. A world where you take the iconic mechs from Gundam and bring them into reality. But where does a beginner even begin? I mean, with so many models, sizes, and grades, it's a lot to take in. Like Daito, the Gundam I chose was the RX-78-2 across 4 grades: Entry, High, Real, and Master. And so, I set out to answer a simple question. Which of these models is the perfect starting point for someone like me, a beginner entering the world of Gundam? Well, that's what we're here to find out. For this journey, I'm focusing on kits that are perfect for beginners. Simple to build, but still packed with detail. So that does mean no perfect grade this time around. It's amazing, but far from beginner friendly. Before kicking off your Gunpla journey, you need the right tools. I kept it simple with a basic toolkit from Mr. Hobby. Nippers to cut pieces from their runners, a file to smooth edges, tweezers for those tiny decals, and a Gundam marker for panel lining. And of course, my trusty hobby knife for trimming some nubs. With my tools ready, I dove into my first RX-78-2 kit, the entry grade. Every beginner needs a starting point, and that's where the entry grade RX-78-2 comes in. This kit is designed for simplicity, making it a great introduction to Gunpla. It captures the classic look of the RX-78-2 while offering a taste of what this hobby is all about. So you'll find 2 bags of color molded runners and an instruction booklet for building a 1/144th scale RX-78-2. No glue, stickers, or nippers required. Just pull the parts off the runners and assemble. Building the entry grade was surprisingly relaxing. It's simple but satisfying to see parts like the head and arms come together. A clever detail is how the kit uses shadow to create the illusion of a black outline around the eyes, one of the key details of this OG Gundam. The sculpting of each piece is simple yet detailed, perfectly reflecting the RX-78-2's iconic design. While this is meant to be a simplistic starting point for those starting out with Gunpla, Bandai does recommend panel lining some areas to make some of the details pop. This is something I was really excited to try out on all 4 models. Color separation is another highlight. Each part is molded in vibrant red, blue, yellow, and a grayish white. The beam rifle, shield, and saber handles are included, but there are no actual beams for the sabers. If you want beams for your saber handles, you'll have to buy the weapon set version of this kit. As someone who loves experimenting with dynamic poses, I was curious about the entry grade's articulation. Despite being a simplified kit, it offers a surprising range of motion in each of the joints, making it easy to recreate iconic Gundam poses or come up with your own. The entry grade RX-78-2 strikes the perfect balance of ease and rewarding results, making it a solid introduction to Gunpla and a starting point for what's to come in the journey. After completing the entry grade, I was ready for the next step, the high grade. It's still 1/144th scale, but the build is far more intricate. From design to articulation, everything feels like a step up. Inside the box, you'll find 2 bags of runners and the instructions to walk you through the process. This time, Bandai includes stickers for more precise details, like accents on the head, eyes, and the yellow V on the waist. The tools are essential here. Unlike the entry grade, you can't just pull the parts off runners. You need nippers to carefully cut each part, file down the edges, and sometimes use a hobby knife. It's a more time-consuming process, but it is interesting to see how you refine each piece before assembly. The high grade parts are better divided, offering sharper details and improved color separation. The beam rifle and shield are more complex than in the entry grade, featuring extra detailing, like the yellow accent to the scope. The kit also includes a hyper bazooka, which can be stored on the waist or held in hand for more versatility. Plus, the 2 beam sabers with translucent pink blades add a vibrant touch to the build. Another step up compared to the entry grade is the inclusion of more hands. Along with open hands, there are gripping hands and a trigger hand for posing with the beam rifle or bazooka. These add a lot of flexibility for action poses. Speaking of poses though, articulation is a big improvement here, with the high grade offering much more range for dynamic posing. It's the first real step towards making Gunpla feel like an articulated action figure. The high grade is a great step up and a perfect choice if you're ready for a more involved building experience. If you're confident, I'd probably recommend starting here and skipping the entry grade entirely. With high grade completed, I was ready to level up to the real grade RX-78-2, specifically the 2.0 version. This kit takes detail and complexity to another level. It's still 1/144th scale, but it introduces inner frame pieces, enhancing articulation and realism in its design. This particular kit is special to me. During New York Comic Con 2024, I mentioned on social media that I was looking for a Gunpla to feature in an upcoming video. That's when the team at Geek New York reached out, and after a bit of talking, sent me the real grade 2.0, which was a huge help to this Gunpla journey. Opening the box, I was blown away by the sheer number of runners and parts. This real grade introduces inner frame pieces which allow for unmatched articulation compared to the other models I've built so far. The detailed molding and decals also take the realism up a notch, though they can be a bit tedious to apply. This was a highly intricate build requiring patience, but it's worth it. This kit feels and looks like it could be in the real world, with moving panels and sections that flow seamlessly with the posing. Color separation and details are top notch. The vibrant red, blue, and yellow armor along with the detailed gray tones looks stunning. While the model without any decals looks great, adding them takes it to a whole nother level. The accessories that come with this real grade RX-78-2 are another highlight. Along with the beam rifle, shield, and beam sabers, the kit includes a transforming core fighter that fits snugly into the chest, adding functionality and stability. Both the hyper bazooka and beam rifle can be clipped to the back of the waist or held in hand just like the high grade, but there's an additional storage option in the form of the shield where you can clip the beam rifle and beam saber handles to the back of it. And just like the high grade, we get interchangeable hands which have different uses, but are also great when it comes to certain poses you may want to achieve. The real grade RX-78-2 is a bit more challenging of a build. Just building the model alone without any decals took me across 2 days to build, one day being the upper half of the model and the other being the lower half. But timing is something that doesn't matter when it comes to building Gunpla. In this hobby, it's all about patience and just enjoying the process of your Gunpla build. Something that Geek New York encouraged me to do when working on this video and specific kit. But what if you desire something larger than the 1/144th scale I've been building? Well, that's exactly where the Master Grade series steps in. After completing the real grade RX-78-2 and getting a feel for 1/144th scale Gunpla, I was ready to move to the next size up, the Master Grade 3.0 RX-78-2. At 1/100th scale, this kit is the next size of grade in my Gunpla journey. This particular version of the RX-78-2 is modeled after the real-life Gundam statue that once stood in Odaiba, blending realism with the anime aesthetic that made this mobile suit iconic. Out of all the RX-78-2 models I assembled, this one reminds me most of the one I saw in Ready Player One. One of the first things that strikes you about the Master Grade 3.0 is just how much more detail you get at this scale. For one, the parts are larger, making it easier to appreciate the intricate sculpting and sharp design choices, and at the same time, the articulation takes cues from the real grade 2.0, allowing for a wide range of dynamic posing. It's the perfect balance of engineering and aesthetics. The kit also includes some fantastic accessories. You get larger, more detailed versions of the beam sabers, beam rifle, hyper bazooka, shield, and core fighter. The core fighter transforms just like in the real grade, and it can either fit into the Gundam's chest or be replaced with a separate piece featuring a tiny, unpainted pilot. Speaking of miniatures, there's also a standing, unpainted figure of Amuro Ray. And this time around, the shield has a cool feature where the opening can be adjusted, adding more options for your display. While this kit is impressive overall, it's not without its downsides. One of the most noticeable issues is how flimsy the upper section feels compared to the other kits I've assembled. Another challenge I ran into was with the decals. The kit includes some extremely thin metallic gold decals for sections like the arms, but no matter how careful I applied them, they just wouldn't stay on. Because of this, I ultimately decided not to use the gold decals on the model. On a brighter note, the articulation is a big highlight. The Master Grade introduces several noticeable updates, including fully articulated fingers and individual articulation points in the feet, allowing for natural, dynamic posing. Overall, the Master Grade 3.0 RX-78-2 is a phenomenal kit that showcases just how far Gunpla engineering can go, combining an anime-inspired look of the entry and high grades with the realism and advanced features of the real grade. Despite its minor issues, it's still a fun build that leaves a lasting impression. For someone new to Gunpla that was curious about exploring a larger scale that wasn't the perfect grade, this kit was an excellent starting point, and a great way to experience the RX-78-2 in a size that brings out every detail. I've explored different tools and techniques to bring the RX-78-2 models to life, but there was one tool I needed to use: the Gundam marker. Adding the finishing touches that would make each model truly shine. The Gundam markers come in specific types, each designed for a specific task, but the one I had on hand was the pour type. Panel lining is a simple but transformative technique. By filling recessed details of the model with ink, you create depth and make the model look sharper and more detailed. It was a very tedious process panel lining these Gunpla models, but I do think it was well worth it to see the additional detail that was added. There was a little bit of mess ups when starting with the entry grade, but as I advanced to each of the grades after, I saw myself improving and the details standing out even more. Areas like the head, arms, waist, legs, and even the saber handles can really pop once you add these ink details to them. As an action figure collector, I haven't done much customization with my figures, but doing this for the first time with Gunpla was very interesting, and I do think it provided a little bit of insight on what it's like to customize. As you get more involved with the Gunpla hobby, you'll discover many other techniques for customization, like weathering, custom painting, and a whole lot more that takes your Gunpla models to the next level. After experiencing these first 4 grades of the RX-78-2, where do I stand? It's tough to say. Each has its strengths, and your choice depends on your skill level and what kind of experience you're looking for when starting your Gunpla journey. If you're brand new to Gunpla, the entry grade is an excellent start. It's simple, fun, and gets you hooked on the process. But if you're looking for a more intricate experience, the high grade is a fantastic next step. For those in search of the most detail and articulation when starting out, the Real Grade 2.0 is a must try. I can definitely see why so many people are in search of this model. And as for the Master Grade, you get a larger size Gunpla that shows off more detail, has some solid articulation, and is a great way of showing off any Gundam if you think 1/144th scale is a bit too small. For me, I think Gunpla isn't just about the end result. It's about the journey, the creativity, and the pride of building something from scratch. There's still a lot of learning to be had, but I can't wait to see how I advance in this hobby, and who knows, maybe someday I'll even work up the nerve to try the perfect grade.